Hey, I didn't see you. How are you? I know, you're super busy, right? We all are. And I know you're thinking that the last thing you have time to really learn about is spreadsheets, but I'm going to show you how Sheets is a super amazing tool that you can leverage to help you in your classroom. So we're going to dive in. We'll take a look real quick at how a spreadsheet's made up and give you kind of a basic idea. But then we're going to take a look at the magic of a drop down and how drop downs and Sheets can really make your life a little bit easier. So just a few quick things about spreadsheets. You should know that they're made up of individual cells. Each one of these little boxes is called a cell. And each cell combines a column letter and a row number to make up a cell address. And these are visible in the name box in the top left-hand corner. Every time you move around, you'll see that adjust, and you can use this to jump to any cell on the page. It's just a fun little way you can navigate around a spreadsheet. And spreadsheets are made up of different tabs here. Each one of these is actually called a sheet. The entire thing's actually called a workbook. So you have the ability to add in here text. We have the ability to insert images inside or over top of a cell. Okay, and as I adjust my cell size, which I can do by making it taller and wider by navigating in between different rows and columns, you'll see that two-way arrow. Here I have the ability to fill that down, which is what happens when you drag on the corner. So it's a different kind of option there. So to resize, we're using these little two-way arrows to make things bigger and smaller. I can adjust my fonts. Super helpful to know you can adjust your fills. Okay, and some of these fills at the bottom, you can do alternating colors. You can do all sorts of things to make this look the way you want. Now, when we talk about sheets, what everyone thinks about really is formulas, but we're not going to take really a look at formulas today. But this is the formula bar. This is where you can type in formulas that display in a cell. But we're not going to do that today. Today, we're going to take a look at something super cool called the drop-down function, and that's under the Insert menu. And if I go to Insert and I go to Drop-Down, I get a whole menu that I can set up and apply, and you can see it starts with one here. We can set up a basic one where we can add as many options as we want, and I can change the colors of my drop-downs so that I have different colors that go with my words. And now over here, my drop down looks like this, and I can select something. I can use that little blue corner to drag and add those same drop downs anywhere I want. Okay, so if I have it before I make a selection, if I just take that little corner, click on it, and I drag it around, I get that same drop down applied all over my screen. Alternatively, I can take and copy and paste that, and I get the same drop down there as well. And so people can select that, okay, or they can select another one. See, I can create a drop down that involves dates, that involves custom formulas, but I can also just do from a range, meaning it can read from another data range that you have on another sheet or another place. We're not going to talk about that to get started, but wanted you to see what was there. So now let's take a look at this in some use cases, how we could use this that would be really awesome. For example, you could use it for station selection. So students or teachers could come in here and indicate which student went to each station or area. Here, after I inserted my drop-down box, I put in their names. Now, again, if I wanted to select names from another spreadsheet where they're saved, I could do drop down from a range and select the sheet here. But for this case, I'm just going to drop that in here on that list, and I'm going to fill that down, and I'm going to fill that across, just that simple. And now I can come in here and select who is at which station, just like that. And then the next day I can come back and I can change that out. Another interesting use case, it would be if we could select activities and standards. Here, I could take a list of activities and I could choose to do them different colors or not. And then next to that, I could put the standards. So here I'm creating almost a little less lesson drop-down menu to kind of build out what's happening. And you can see how easy that becomes then to select what you're doing. This one I love for the simplicity of it, a feelings chart. Here I combine colors with words. So if you have younger kids that might not be readers, you could use the colors to help them associate with a picture. You can really get deep with the colors, so you can have more than what was available in your choices there, so you can customize that further out, and you can reorder your options. Okay, so if I wanted to start with my positive ones now, I realize I can reorder that. That will alter that here in the list, and the students can select and keep track of how they're feeling day to day. If we're talking about students rating their ability to do something, we could set different rating scales. So this could have numbers and text here depending on how large I make this column. Depends on how much more I can add into it. Depending on your environment, you could have students or teachers complete this and use that as a way to track progress. To clear this out, if you select the cell and hit your backspace, it will clear off what was in your drop down. So that's a little tip too. And you can see some other ideas could include project choices, lunch choices. Any of these things can be added in here as drop downs for you or your students to indicate things. Now, you might be saying, well, that's great, but what if I want to save my data and come back to it? Well, that's easy. What you can do is take your spreadsheet, you can right click on it and you can duplicate, and you'll have a fresh version tomorrow. Highlight the cells you want to clear, delete them out, and now you'll have your original sheet with the information from your choices or your progress from before, and a new sheet with updated information. So in a way, we can see how maybe drop downs might be able to help you accomplish a few tasks and make your life a little easier.